Gentleman from Pennsylvania for 5 minutes, Mr. Dent.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Director Sullivan, for being here. I truly appreciate your service and the service of those who serve in your agency. Listening to my friends Congressman Cuellar and Congressman McCall, I'm very impressed by your willingness to take responsibility for this incident. But I never ever expected we always expect the Secret Service to take a bullet for the President. We don't expect the Secret Service to take a bullet for the President's staff. I think we have to have a discussion here about that issue, that clearly there are issues of collaboration and coordination that we're not up to the high expectations that I know you have for your agency and that we all have. And so it's critical that we hear from the social office on this. But my main question, Director Sullivan, is this. There has been much discussion about the planning meeting and who recommended that no representative from the social office be at the initial checkpoints. And given your 26 years of experience, would you have made such a recommendation?
Sir, I really don't want to debate whether that was the right decision or the wrong decision. I think the fact is that regardless of if it was right or wrong, we agreed to it. And when we agreed to it, we took the responsibility for that list. And we took responsibility for allowing that person into the event. My opinion is to look back and to say, what we should have done or could have done does not take away from the fact that we allowed somebody into the White House who shouldn't have come in. We had a protocol for that particular night based upon our decision that if anybody came who wasn't on the list, that that person should have called for help, and we didn't do it. So I guess we could debate for hours whether or not I should have, I would have made that decision, or if we made the right decision. But the bottom line is, we made a decision, and we have to live with it.
I appreciate the candor of your answer, and also I understand too that since you would not have made that recommendation, I certainly hope that when the White House Social Office receives recommendations from you about the security of the President of the United States, they would take those recommendations very seriously, like they perhaps should have in this particular instance. Media has reported that Desiree Rogers, the White House Social Secretary, was listed as a guest for the event and hosting her own table. Do you know if this was in fact the case?
I don't know anything about that, sir.
Okay, and if the Secret Service had a question as to whether or not a presumably very important person was in fact authorized to attend the event, would Ms. Rogers be a logical person to contact in a case like that?
Again, sir, I would not know. I think that she would have, I would think that there's several people working within her office, and I do know for this particular event we had contacts from within her office that we were dealing with. I'm not sure, in fact, if it was her directly or other people who worked for her.
Okay, and again, throughout your time as Director of the Secret Service, were representatives from the White House staff stationed at checkpoints for these types of events in the past, and would such a practice be, well, I guess you've answered it, beneficial in the future? You said yes. That's your position. A few other things, too, that I wanted to run by you. When reviewing the Office of Inspector General's Secret Service inaugural security, I found an interesting statement by the IG that I'd like to just share with you. In reviewing allegations that individuals without tickets were able to attend the breakfast with Vice President-elect Biden, a Secret Service protectee, the OIG found that the allegations were true, but did not consider them a breach of security. On page 15 of that report, it states, quote, because the Secret Service relies on physical screening and monitoring, not invitations, to provide security, there were no security lapses at the Biden breakfast. Can you explain why the Secret Service considers a ticket a crowd control mechanism and not a security mechanism?
I think it all depends on how those tickets are, and again, I'm not sure the conditions and how those tickets were distributed. Many times tickets are mailed out unilaterally to hundreds of people. I'm not exactly sure, sir, how those tickets were distributed. I'd be more than happy to look into that and get into it with you, but I guess I'm not familiar with that.
Okay. And you've already stated that essentially a layer of White House security was breached, but there was an agent near the President when he was in the receiving line and met the Salahis, comparable to what one might expect when the President is shaking hands along a rope line. Is that
I wouldn't say as close as they are with a rope line, but again, if you watch, you know, our men and women on these type of photo lines, people have to pass by an agent on one end. There's other agents on the other end, and we are monitoring these people. We're watching these people. You'll never see our people watching those we protect, but more watching the people that are approaching the people we protect.
Okay, thank you for your service, and I yield back.